Hey, good morning, everybody. How's it going? I got Chris Kidney, CC Wright, and Scott Gross. What is up? And some other people who haven't commented yet. If you're new to these live shows, make sure that you shoot us a comment to say hello. Also, if you have any questions, let me know. I got lots of questions to answer from the Facebooks today. So we'll try to get through all of those and any questions that you guys have. Scott, yes, that was a super fun race. How did you do? How did you end up doing in the race? I had a lucky ride. It was awesome. Roger Hurd, what's happening? Chris Cooley. Yeah, I had a lucky ride. I ended up third in the 40A on the 125. Hey, there's my mom. Everybody say hi to my mom, Suzanne Spradling. Yeah, it went well. The guy who won our class was 5th overall. So I talked to I know him, and I was like, dude, if you had just entered the pro class, you would have let me move up a position and he would have made money. But yeah, it's pretty. Bike Vault, what's happening? Barnado, Brady, what is going on? Bruce Kennedy, how are you? And 125s do rule. That being said, I will probably be racing the 300 at the final race, the Weeby race of the year, because it is a horsepower race down in Pajarito, New Mexico, which is just outside of Los Alamos. It's a little ski resort. And you spend a lot of time going straight up ski runs. And while the 125 will go up those ski runs with me on it, the 300 will go up those ski runs much faster. So, and I haven't raced a 300 in forever, like all year. So I'm getting it all ready to go. Huge thanks to Brady. Brady, thank you for the spring forks for it. After the beat down up in Idaho with the air forks, I just decided that I just don't like them. They're fine. I'm going to keep them, actually, I think. And if I go race any moto or anything like that on the 125, I'm going to put them on there because they are a lot lighter than the spring forks. And if I just want to try to really lighten that 125 up, that'll be a good way to do it. Shave a few pounds. Kim Jackson, what's happening? Paul Anstey, thank you so much. I was really happy with my results, honestly. Mike Klinger, good morning. It was it was a great race. It was just let's see. Rainy season here, so ground is awesome. I feel like I'm Billy Bull. Yes, right on Bike Vault. It was a super fun race. It was a good race for the 125 too, because it wasn't a ton of climbing. I mean, there was a lot of ups and downs. It was just but it wasn't like super extended climbing. So the 125 was great, and the downhills were brilliant. Barnado, the guy who got 14th overall and podiums and is all A class. Yeah. So is Rodrigo Lopes, Lopez or Lopes? I think it's Lopes. Anyway, Meeker Extreme, what's happening, Mark? Rodrigo smoked our class, but he owns Rocky Mountain Way Extreme. He's trying to promote extreme enduro in Colorado, and he actually lives in that area. I think he lives down in the San Luis Valley. I think his real job is helping farmers with something. Like he does something with farming. Anyway, super good dude, an amazing rider, like amazing. And he's over 40, so he can enter whatever class he wants. But he was bummed out that he didn't enter the pro class because as 5th overall, he would have made money. So Jimmy Neihart, what's happening, man? Gary M, what's up? And Roger, 40A is a tough class. But I'm excited because the guy who was leading my class for the series, I beat him by a whole bunch in this last race because he's more of an open desert guy. And so I was happy about that. I also beat the other guy because I'm sitting 3rd in points because I didn't go to the Farmington race because I hate that race because it's sand whoops for hours and hours and it's just miserable. So those two guys did go. So right now they're way ahead of me in points, but we get to drop a race. So I'm hoping when it all shakes out, this final race in Pajarito, it should be a very, very close battle for the win for the season, which would be really, really fun. I'm excited about that. Mike Coles, good morning. We've been enjoying the Idaho vids. Thanks. So weird to hear you talk about starting off in the cold. Still summer here in Florida. Yeah, yeah, it was chilly up there in the mornings. Not super cold, but like it was in the 30s, which is awesome. Kim Jackson day 3 video looked real tough up top. That trail, so that's Bass Creek Trail, and it was the hardest thing we did in Idaho for sure. One of the hardest things I've done ever, mainly because of the extended nature of it. It's like, and it's all combined. So Idaho's so cool. One of the really cool things about Idaho is that it's very remote. Everywhere you go is very remote. There's no cell coverage. There's no help if things go wrong. So you're way out, kind of hanging it out there. So then when you get into tough terrain, it's weighing on you even more, which I like. I like that a lot, actually, because it's, I don't know, I grew up climbing big mountains and taking big risks, climbing and things like that, ice climbing, stuff like that. So this is kind of a return to that when you get that far out and you're doing really hard stuff. So it was really fun, but it makes the obstacles feel much harder. Emily Raffaele, what's happening? And so that thing is gnarly, man. It was just like one gnarly obstacle after another gnarly obstacle after another gnarly obstacle. And we get to the top, and then I went up to that little peak. That was hard, actually. Shot a quick video and took some pictures, and then we dropped off the backside. And hey, Tony Andrews, what's happening? And it like that's the hardest thing of the whole thing. Fortunately, we were going down it. But Foxy Bibbs got off his bike, and I knew because he was 2 people ahead of me. And I see him go around the corner and stop and then get off the bike. I'm like, oh, it's going to be hard if the Bibbs is getting off because, dude, that dude's an amazing rider. Jason Lash, what's happening? So, yeah, it was gnarly. But going down wasn't so bad. You could bulldog it down. And but the other thing about Idaho is that it seems like everywhere it's really hard, the consequences also go way up. It's not gnarly. Glenn Altschwager, what's happening? Thank you for enjoying the videos from Idaho. We had a blast. It was so much fun. 3 days of riding. We had first day was 90 miles. The last 2 days were 70 miles each. I was beat down when that was over. So very, very happy to be, everybody had a great time. No real bike breakages. Chris Kinberg, hi, Chris. How you doing? He did poke a hole in his radiator on his TM, but other than that, and we got it fixed, fortunately. So other than that, it was really a solid trip. So yeah, it was awesome. So thank you guys for watching that. If you guys haven't watched any of those, if you're watching this live or later and you haven't watched our Idaho videos, please do. I think they turned out pretty good. So let's get, hey, James, tell me what's happening, man. Did you get your van back? I hope you did. So let's get to the questions on the line. Again, if you don't follow us on the socials, you should. It's a spirited discussion over there these days. Whatever. And those of you who know what I'm talking about. But I have some questions, and I usually post that like open question forum the night before this, so you guys can get there, and so we make sure I get to you. Let's see. Keith McQueen, when's the review of the thing I got? I don't know. I filmed the install yesterday, and so it is on a bike of mine. It's on the 300. I will be using it all during the Death March, which is exciting. So, but I filmed the install and my initial thoughts on it. I don't know when I'm going to be able to release it. The owner of the company still wants me to keep it on the down low because they haven't, it's not public yet. So, yeah, so Keith, I don't know is the answer. I haven't asked him like kind of when the timeline is, but I don't know. Should be, I would imagine it's going to be pretty soon, but we'll see. Because the quick thing, if you guys are new, you didn't know, I was approached by a manufacturer to test a thing. I have a good relationship with this manufacturer. It's just a new product for them. They're not new to the industry. And they've been testing in-house for a really long time, I think almost a year, and having great results, but they are now reaching to the outside world, people that don't work for them, to get this done and test in the real world before they actually release it. So that's what's going on. Anyway, lots of things. Eric Cancer, I don't know if you're here, Eric. I'm sure you'll watch later. If you're not, Eric lives down in Texas. His question is rubber mounted bar versus steering damper. So that is apples and oranges. That's my first answer to that question. Those two things are solving two different problems. So my answer is yes. But for me, if I've got, let's say I've got $500 to spend on a bike. I've already got, my suspension done, tires, whatever. And I got this extra 500, all the guards and all that. So I got an extra 500 bucks. I don't know what to do with it. My personal thing is going to be to go with the Mako 360 first, because I feel like if the bike is suspended well and you've got it all, the chassis all set up like you like, then the steering stabilizer is less important. So I would go first. Sean Smith, it was awesome. Idaho was awesome. Thank you so much for the suggestions on loops. We used those suggestions and then added little bits in to make them a little bit longer. So thank you very much. It was awesome. Bruce Kennedy, my guess is the product is a silencer bolt that cannot fall out. I hope I need that. It's not, sadly. But so I would go Mako 360 first before a steering stabilizer. But the rubber mounted bars is really important to my old beat up wrists, hands, elbows, shoulders, whereas the steering stabilizer is more about fitness and like keeping the bike from knifing around. And I feel like my bikes are set up pretty well. They don't do that much. So I do have that hidden steering stabilizer on the 125 race bike, but I probably never put a steering stabilizer on my 300. I am going to race it at the end of the year, but it's not really my race bike. So I'm not going to bother with it. It's $500. I don't need to spend on that. So, but that's not a judgment on steering stabilizers. For me personally, I like the 360. To me, I like the comfort of the 360 better than the steering damping of the, anyway, so whatever. But quick update. I really like that Honda steering stabilizer mounted behind the number plate on my 125. That thing is awesome. Like, so awesome. I really like that because it doesn't do much, but it does just enough to feel like it's making it a little bit safer to ride that thing fast. And it's clean and small, and it doesn't weigh anything compared to the Scots. And the Scots is awesome. Again, I love the Scott stabilizers. I got one of my 650, but that thing's cool. Jonathan Vaughn. Well, this is actually just nice. He said, just wanted to say great videos from Idaho. Lucky Brady didn't come. His 4-stroke would have cooked on day 3. Thanks, Jonathan. The next real question. James Tully, it was great talking to you. I can't wait. Oh, he says, see you next Friday at the Death March. Death March is next Saturday is the actual march. Friday is when we're going to be camping. If anybody is interested and still wants to come and wants the GPS tracks, shoot me an email, morgan@highland-cycles.com. That dash is a hyphen. And let me know, and I will get you the GPS tracks and the pin drop for where we're camping and all that good stuff. There's no charge for this. People keep asking me, like, what's the fee? There's no fee because I'm not really doing anything except for going for a ride and showing you guys where we're going. I probably will be stashing gas the night before, so we can talk about that. It's a short trip from where we're camping to stash a little bit of gas at the start of Star Trail, which I think we should probably do to make sure we have enough. Death March, awesome. I don't know if it's going to break 200 miles this year because we're going to be camping up in the middle of it and not doing the ride out of town and back in, but it should be darn close to 200. So, anyway, Brian Kimsey asks how to choose tires for race sites where you've never been. So that's his question, but he says specifically, was Monte Vista soft, medium, or hard? He's talking about the terrain. So Brian, and Monte Vista, I think I chose really, really well for this. It was to me, it was an intermediate or medium terrain race. because I did not put the gauntlet on for that race because I knew that there was a whole bunch of sand. And I knew there was going to be some really good dirt sections, which is not where that tire excels. That tire excels really, really well. Like in Idaho, it did amazing in Idaho and all those rocks. It does fine in the dirt, but it's not great. So I put on an X30, Bridgestone X30 Battlecross X30 on the back, obviously M59 up front because it's the best tire ever on the front of a bike. And I felt like it was a really, really solid choice because we had the big sand section, well, silt sections at the beginning, with dusty. By the way, I'm working on that video. It's coming. I'm super busy. But I think it should end up being a really good video. I got the whole thing. So then, so silty, gnarly, whatever. Then we had river crossings. Then we got up in the woods and there was like loamy dirt for things, and then a lot of roots and rocks. And then really super deep sand coming back across to the start. So I was really happy to have that X30 on there. Back to your original question, though, Brian, on how to choose. I would say the best thing you can do is the beauty of the internet, right? The upside to the internet, it's not all up, but the upside to the internet is the fact that you can reach out to people in different places. And actually, a quick plug, Brady, I did not do a flying W on the creek. That video was awesome. I tippy-toed across all those creek crossings because I was not willing to drown my bike. Like, that was so gnarly. If you guys haven't seen that, Trailbound put a video. I don't think he was there. I think he got that video from someone else, but it's epic. Oh my gosh, he saves it. It's amazing. What was I saying? So anyway, what was I saying? Oh, how to choose. So you can reach out to people. So one of the cool things about the wolfxhere.com, and I'm going to type the thing in here because I really think you guys all, well, I don't know, if you want to and you want to post your location, all that, and get a hold of people via where they are in the world, and it's easier to find, you need to go to that website and then use the invite code. I don't know if it's still invite code or not, but you can use that invite code on there. So it's Wolf, WLFX here, HERE.com. And then HLNDX here is the invite code to get you in. That's our invite code. It doesn't, I'm not getting paid, but it does help with, Wolf just really likes to see what their influencers are doing, if it's working. So, and they're great guys. Anyway, it's super cool. If you haven't been there, you go to that website, dive in, and then you can like look at the map of the planet and literally the planet and see where people are. And so what you would do is, like, if you're like, oh, I'm going to that race that's near there, maybe click on that. If they've shared their social media, or they can share phone numbers, which I don't think most people are doing, and then email, stuff like that. You can email them directly and say, you know, hey, what tires work great there? So that's how I would do it, is get a hold of a local. Yeah, I know, Bruce Kennedy. It's weird. But the word keeps coming up. I'm just a shop guy. I was filming the product install of this thing that I can't talk about. I felt like I made a pretty awesome comment about how I'm not an influencer. I'm just a shop owner who actually does this for a living. And that's why I feel like this is going to be a good test and not something. Anyway, so also I'm not getting paid. Mike P, thank you so much. The videos, I think they turned out pretty good. So Michael Van Sluis, I think is how you pronounce that. That's how I'm going to say it. Anyway, Michael asks, oh, coffee tea so good this morning. He's got an O2 WR250. I'm guessing it's an F. I don't think they made the two-stroke back then. There goes Brady. Yeah, Keith McQueen. No bike and vacation. Although I've actually been thinking about that, Keith, for a very long time. I really do want to give a vacation away to here, provide a bike. I can't give a bike away, one of my bikes. Not yet. Maybe, I mean, hopefully someday that'd be awesome. But provide that. So provide a motorcycle for someone and give away a plane ticket out here and all that stuff. So we need to talk about that someday, but I'm pretty far from that right now. So anyway, O2WR250 runs but randomly revs out of control. Have to kill it to bring it back down. Doesn't need jetting or a new carb altogether. Michael, you need to figure out why it's doing that first. I don't know what you've done so far. I would try to find an air leak. It sounds like an air leak or a slide issue. You might have a slide hanging up. Jimmy, that's awesome. I'm sorry I even said the word. That's whatever. I don't know what to say. The Wolf guys are kind enough to give me vests and jerseys and to let me have a invite code. So I don't know what else to call it. I love you guys. Roger, I think it's an air leak. Probably. I have seen lots of things like have problems with the throttle, like the throttle gets stuck and like every now and then it'll snap anyway. So probably don't need a whole carburetor, but Brady, I had your vest in Idaho, but you didn't come. You got to come get it. That's how it works. Anyway, Brady's asking, where's my vest? So you got to come get it. I've said that from the get-go. So yeah, I don't think you probably need a new carburetor, but you need to figure out I'm guessing where it's leaking oil or leaking air, because that's probably what's causing it to lean out and run high, and fix that leak. It could be Keith McQuaid. So it's funny. I do have a TikTok account and it's ridiculous. So Bruce, can you slide on those Yamahas that have a plastic piece that can be installed backwards? Yes, they do, Bruce. That's probably not it, because usually they won't run, like they'll start an idle, but they don't run out of control. They do weird thing anyway, but they don't usually run out of control, and they're really consistently crappy when you put that in backwards. So yeah. So yeah, Mike, I don't think I would just go buying a carburetor yet, but I would figure out where it's leaking. And Kevin O'Laughlin, is that a shot vest? I keep trying to get him to come work for me, but he won't. Anyone know a good fork builder? Yeah, Maker Extreme. Bradysius. And then I'm really good at just servicing them, but Brady's the valvey guy. And I'm still working about trying to get with TBT. Travis has just been super busy. So, and Kim Jackson, yes, I am an instigator. And Brady, I'm sorry that you can't watch the Idaho videos. Ed Dugan, what's happening? Thank you very much for the congratulations. What happened to you, man? I saw you only did one lap. I don't know what happened. That's sad. Meeker said good, not great. You guys are awesome. Anyway, next one, Jared Sahagun. I don't know how it's Sahagun. I think that's Hello Dirt Bike here or something like that. Summer Spading, when's the next bike test lap time test? That is coming very soon, because the plateau just closed after Labor Day. I rode with Mr. Schoening up there and his friend Carrie Gates on the last day that it was all open. It was awesome. So we are dangerously close to getting back to doing test lap times on my loop. So the next one is going to be the YZ125. I think I got that thing running really good. I just haven't been riding it because I've been racing and whatever. So I got to get a better front tire on it, which is coming, and then it's on. So and then Jared says he's got 1,300 miles on his GPX. Still loving it. Have a fun trip for the San Rafael planned in early October. So that's awesome. The GPXs, if you guys know, I've talked about those. Meeker Extreme had one. I've been talking about that. And I think those are pretty cool. I really want someone to bring something less expensive to the market, and I hope GPX can keep doing that. It'd be cool. Confab, want to see more 650R videos in the future? That will happen. Actually, I got to look at my schedule, but I'm finally, by the way, getting all the parts to rebuild the KTM 350 XCW for the Covco raffle. I'm really excited about that. Finally, the gaskets are all showing up. At least they say they are. So that's going to happen very soon. When I get that done, that's like kind of my next big like motor project that is just I got to get done before I open anything else up. And once I do that, then the XR is next, and I'm going to be rebuilding my XR 650R because I've put a top-ended one before, but like I haven't done much to them because you don't really have to do much to them. And but mine's starting to burn oil. I mean, it's got 4 skrillion miles. Paynes rides, I know that he hated that GPX. Beaker likes it. This guy likes it. I don't know. I'm with Paynes on that because the whole part anyway, whatever. But I still would like to see someone get, it takes a long time to be good in this industry. I'd like to see someone bring something good. Anyway, I don't think I missed anything. No, yeah. So anyway, we're talking about GPXs. Anyway, Roger, I wish I'm not going to be able to race Mexico this year. It's just not going to work, unfortunately, unless some wonderful benefactor out there wants to just dump a giant pile of money on me, and then I'll go race the 1,000. But it's just not going to happen because I've been racing a ton this year, which is awesome, and I'm not complaining about my station in life. It's just it's just reality. Final one. This is a good one, guys. This is an awesome question. It's from Chris Bjork. It's a fun name to say, Bjork, BJORK. Anyway, beater bikes versus new bikes. With how many consumables are on bikes, is there really any benefit for a cash-strapped rider to seek new? It's one thing after another with used bikes, but after the first year, I'd assume new bikes are the same. Okay, so there's a lot of going on. Bruce, I agree on the tons of money makes you owned. Although, unless they just want to support that one ride. But anyway, whatever. So if there's a super scrillionaire out there that wants to see me race the 1,000, let me know. So beater bikes versus new bikes. Like I said, that's a convoluted question, and I think it's a really good one. Okay, let's start with if you have the money for a new bike, and you can find one, that's the thing. So if you have the money for a new bike, and it's not going to cause you, because I mean he's talking about cash strapped, but if so let's say you're not cash strapped, you have plenty of money, you've got $13,000-$14,000 burning a hole in your pocket. It's not going to affect anything about your life. You're still putting money in savings. You're still paying for your house, still buying food for your kids, all that good stuff. Buy a new motorcycle. It's the best thing ever. It's so nice. Eric, I answered your question earlier. I'll dive back in, but apples and oranges, and I would spend money on the Mako 360 first, and then the steering stabilizer. But anyway, like if you have the money, there's nothing like having a new bike. Having a freshie is just amazing, and you really have a lot less problems than you do with a used bike, especially since you know every thing that's ever gone wrong with it and all that stuff. I love you, Mama. She's got a boogie. But and like I said, if you know it from new, you can fix every little thing at the big, like as it happens, and then not have that problem again, or whatever, delay it, bearings go out, whatever. But now if you are cash strapped and you can't afford a new bike, but you're like, you could finance it and it would create a lot of stress, but you could probably pull it off and all that stuff. But you and your wife are going to argue about it. You're not going to go out to dinner as often. You can't take the kids out, get braces for the kids, all that stuff. I think a used bike is just fine because so I'm trying to produce these videos, right, for you guys so you can work on your own bikes and not have to pay people like me big money to do things, because motorcycles, dirt bikes are really pretty easy to deal with. And I don't know, it's fun for me. I like fixing things. Obviously, that's why I do what I do. For instance, so I got a great example. So Roger, I love you so much. Thank you. Gave us the 144 for my kid. It's an 02, so it's 20 years old, right? Brought it home. I completely rebuilt the thing. New crank, new piston, everything, right? New clutch, everything. I mean, it's on the inside. But it's an old bike. And then Brady, thank you so much, Brady, rebuilt the forks, valved them, and shock, excuse me, and got it all nice in it. Put new wheel bearings in it, new linkage bearings, new everything. And until he crashed it and shredded a radiator hose and then melted it, we had no problems with that bike because I went through everything that is like a consumable. I like that word actually, on the bike and replaced all of it from the get-go. It was not cheap to do. It was not an inexpensive restoration of that bike, but it worked, right? I've had no problems, like I said, other than, I mean, he caused the one problem that we had. And even that really wasn't too big of a problem. We put a new piston in it, cleaned up the cylinder, and it's running great. So, yeah, I like. There's nothing wrong with buying a used, bike. But that being said, if you don't know its history and you don't know anything about it, you're gonna have to spend some real money up front to get it into that like reliable situation. So anyway. It's brilliant. Like in Roger, yes, it did need it, but it was good. And Brady says, "Damn kids." Yeah, I mean, whatever. He crashed it. Didn't tell me that he was smelling coolant, and ran it out of water and melted it. But it's yeah, I think you can buy a used bike and have no problems, but you're gonna have to spend some real time and money. I mean, unfortunately, that's what I do. Fortunately, that's what YouTube helps me and makes me even more motivated to do, is to tear things apart and rebuild them for you guys. So it worked out. But like I said, if you have the money and you have the means, buying a new bike and having a new bike is just, there's nothing better. I mean, my 300 is now 360, 370 hours old of just beating. And that's only one of my bikes. So I've got lots of riding. The 125's already got almost 80 hours on it. And I've had, I know everything that's ever happened to it. So it's good. Anyway. And then yeah, Eric's got a good comment in here. Let's see. Roger talks about, we're still waiting on new gas. His sister. Yeah, like that's a problem. Right now, it's hard to buy a new bike. Jimmy Nyhart. So when you pitch a bib, I'm nervous. I'm going to self-remove. I'm on third tires. Oh, so when do you pitch a bib? I'm on third tire. Same 305 rear. Jimmy, I wait until, so I wrap a tube around it. Maybe if you're at 3, I mean, I would have put a tube around that thing and maybe a chunk, like cut it and put the wedge in from another one. I don't think you have another. These are your first set of mooses, but and make it big. But when I pitch it is when, it's when I'm getting ready to take it off and you can see the bead is like collapsed in there and it's just like a flat. But if you got a rim lock and you kind of pay attention to it, it shouldn't come off of there. The other thing you can do is put another rim lock in there and have 2. So, and Brady says I ride too much. Bruce Kennedy, around here, used bikes that were 3,000 before COVID are now 6. I know that. So that's the other thing. Bruce brings up a really good point about the state of the world. I'm calling our world love in the time of cholera. It's anyway. The inflated prices of stuff is a bummer. Actually, we're dealing with a customer right now who's really pissed off because he paid too much for a used bike. And let me get here. Eric Cancer, used 4-stroke is iffy. 2-stroke is way cheaper to rebuild if needed. That is an amazingly good point, Eric. Buying a used 4-stroke, which is what this guy did. This is welcome to story time here. He bought a used CR F-150R. Didn't bring it to me or anybody else. Didn't really do a bunch of stuff. And he the kid that he bought it for, his kid, smoked it. I mean, melted it, everything, everything, right? All of it. He came to me. I told him, don't rebuild this thing. It's not worth it. You're going to spend a ton of money on it. It's going to be out of control. It's not that great a bike, whatever. It had, and I don't mean the bike's not that great a bike. I mean, that specific one. He did it anyway, and now we are struggling to get it running just right because we keep finding more worn out stuff. For instance, the carburetor has some weird stuff going on anyway. And it's like, and he's really angry, and partially at me, although it's just displaced anger because we've waited forever for parts. We finally got parts, and we're still dealing with this thing. And now he's going to have more money in it than it's worth, by way more money than a new one would have been. And I'm like, I told you so, man. I told you so at the beginning of this whole thing. So you got to be careful. It sucks, whatever. So, anyway, so the used bike, if it's coming close to like your used bike is going to be really close to a new bike, just buy the new bike if you can find one. I got a gem of a 2016 Husky TE250. Hold on, this is from Payne's, and plan to keep it going for a long time. I can afford a bike, but just can't start from zero again. Yeah, absolutely. And plus, we all know what's going to happen in short order. I agree. And he puts on 100 hours a year. I'm with you. And then Brady wants to sell his KX. You're ridiculous, Brady. What are you going to buy? You better buy something. And Bruce, it is a super shame. I feel bad for him. I mean, when it's all done, it's going to be a brand new bike, but he's going to have more than a brand new anyway. So it's a bummer. And like I said, I tried really hard to advise him, but 237. I've tried bib wedges, never worked for me. From Eric. So I've had good luck, but what I do with the bib wedges is I take the moose. So you're taking the tire off, the moose off, right? And then I take the new tire, set the moose in it. I cut the moose and put it in there, and when it'll like fill out like that and leave a gap. Then I take that gap plus like 2 inches or maybe even more and cut a chunk. You can either buy the wedge, or if you have old ones, you cut a chunk out of the other one that's that long, that's too long, and shove it in there. Okay, so that fills it up. But then what I do is I take that back out, I cut a tube down the middle, like slice it like a fish, like you're gutting a fish, and then wrap that around that whole situation, and it works good. At least get another thing. So let's see, Keith McQueen still rocking 11300, 700 hours. Big sweat brakes. I down with that, Keith McQueen. I actually, a friend of ours, Alan, stopped by on Monday while we were riding. We were actually done riding, hanging out. He just turned over 900 hours on his 2017. He rides a lot. He's retired. He's got nothing better to do. But yeah. Anyway, so it's yeah. Just if you can save up, buy a new bike and fix it. If not, buy a used 2-stroke, go through the whole thing, replace all the bearings and everything, and then you won't have a problem. Kevin O'Laughlin, he's actually KX. Meeker Extreme, have a great day, Mark. I'll talk to you soon. 237, sorry, Eric. Definitely put the tube. That was always my thing, even before I started doing the wedges. Just take a tube. A heavy duty one's better because it takes up a little more room. Wrap it around there, chuck it in there. It makes a huge difference. Brady, potato wedges. I do all my own work, says Paynes. I spend on maintenance, fixing what breaks. To heck with the cosmetics. I am with you on that. Although every now and then I do get vain, usually once a year, and I buy new plastics and graphics because whatever. That's who I am. I like to have at least once a year have a shiny new bike. I don't do it often, although the guys at Decal Works have been helping me with that with my race bike because they've sponsored that bike and they've been keeping me supplied with new graphics and keeping that bike really shiny looking. It's awesome. There we go. I do want to ask Morgan's professional opinion: more zip ties and stickers or new plastics? So I just sort of mentioned it. So for me, honestly, it's a once a year thing on new and well, unless I just completely smoke a plastic that's not zip tieable. But I like to once a year. Brady, that's awesome. Once a year, usually in the winter, I like to order a whole new set of plastics and graphics, and shine the thing. Because I'll be doing that this year with both my bikes and filming the whole thing for you guys. I'll be taking the bike all the way apart, motor out of the frame, cleaning everything, replacing all the bearings that need to be replaced, going through the whole thing, make sure everything's good, all back together. And when I do that, I'll put new plastics on it because it's fun. So it's not obviously necessary, but it is nice. Jimmy Nyhart, Jimmy Nyhart, are you coming to the Gold Rush? By the way, man, I think you should. I hope you do. My plastic. Oh yeah, here Brady's plastic lasts years and years and years because he puts like 1 hour, maybe a month on his bike. Because he didn't even go to Idaho, which is like the most brilliant trip ever. And Brady, you should watch those videos so that you make that happen next year. By the way, Idaho is definitely going to happen again next year if you guys are interested. I don't know. We probably won't go to the same place. We'll probably camp in a different place just to switch it up. But it will be in the Sawtooths for sure. Probably not going to go north towards Gold Creek unless I don't know. It's just a lot further away. Pains. It don't matter if you're broken and starving as long as you look good. Because to look good is to feel good. I think Billy Crystal from Saturday Night. Anyway, whatever. Andy, yeah, it was good to see you, man. Awesome to see you at the registration line. That was a lot of fun. We had a ton of fun. I was gonna say here we go. Confab asked, how do I feel about Maxima SC1? I don't have a feeling about Maxima SC1 because I've never used it. That's their 2-stroke oil, right? I think. I'm sure it's good. I would stand behind anything Maxima makes. I've never had anything bad from Maxima. It's always been really good. So I have not personally used that, but it's been good. There's Eric coming in with the Rotella comment. We all know he's kidding. At least he better be. Let me take just a second to say, if you are watching this and you're having fun, hit the thumbs up button. You got to back out of the chat, hit the thumbs up, and then come back in. Oh, is SC1 the shine stuff? There we go, Jimmy Nyhart. I don't even know. So if it's the shine stuff, I'm sure it's really good. Again, new plastic cleaner. There we go. Confab, thanks, man. See, it's funny. It's a small world and small industry, but I still don't know everything and never will know everything. But Confab, if it's from Maxima, I'm sure it's good. I love things that make things shine. That don't cost a lot of money. So I'm sure that stuff's good. I've used the Muck Off Protectant. That works really, really well too. Honestly, I really, really, really like the Z-Max wax, because the stuff I've used, like the silicone, like that, and I haven't used that specifically, but things like that. Who makes Moto shine? Anyway, I've used a bunch of different ones over the years, except for not the Maxima. They kind of leave a film on there that then which is fine. It looks awesome sitting in the garage. It looks really good. You roll through the line, looks good, but then you roll through a little bit of dust, it sticks to it. The Z-Max wax is awesome because it doesn't shine it as much, but it does shine it, and it also keeps it doesn't build up. It's really good. So Eric can't say you like that mustache. Bruce Kenny got the hose foaming gun from Slick, and it works great. Awesome. I gotta try that because the Slick thing out of the deal just isn't as good. Paynes uses Spectro bike wash. The stuff is magic. Right on. There's a ton of stuff out there that works. I like Muck Off is great. The Slick works good. Kevin O'Laughlin, thank you so much for the super chat. By the way, I'll go ahead and say it. if you guys love what you're watching here and you want to support us financially at all, you can hit us with a super chat like Kevin just did. Thank you, Kevin. He's done that so many times. He's a huge supporter of this channel. Thank you. And I very much appreciate it. Or you can go to our Patreon page and be a patron. You know, it does really make a difference. This year's been a lot easier to go do all these races because of your support, and the YouTube money that I make has made a huge difference. I'm definitely not getting wealthy by any means. I'm shooting for that someday through YouTube, but it does make a big difference also on big projects and things like that. It helps to ease the cost of that, so it's easier to give back to you and the community at large. So let's see. If I recall, desert racers used to coat their airbox with grease. Ever try that in a dusty race? Seems messy. Bruce, I have never done that. Roger Hurd, have you ever done that? Roger is an old desert racer from way back. It would seem super messy. I guess it would collect some dust, but I don't know, man. Like, that seems not good. I would rather use like filter skins and pop those things off. Oh yeah, Bruce Kennedy. So the balance, he mentions balance bike. So guys, the balance bike is so awesome. It's becoming a really awesome fixture at the shop. Please come down and try it. It's really fun to watch people try it for the first time. I am getting better at it, but not that good yet. Leandra Sheets is the current master of the balance bike, like absolute master, and is just whatever. She's killing it. She's like 15 minutes up to. It's really, really hard. It's an amazing workout. So John Kramer, thank you so much for that. It's really, really cool. I love it. Hang on. My computer's doing weird stuff. Anyway, sign and release and wear a helmet on the balance bike. The thing is awesome. It's really cool. I'm so happy to have it, and I'm trying to get on it, at least 5 or 6 times a day. Just go as much as I can. I haven't done the close up of the spring on the base. I'll take a picture of that today, Eric. Sorry. Pains. That's awesome. And the best thing about Leandra is that she is very vociferous about how good she is at it and giving Zach a hard time. Guys, if you're from out of town and you haven't ever been to the shop, I really, really, really want to meet you. You really need to come down. We really do have so much fun. It's just a ton of fun. And like the balance bike is just adding to that fun, which is sweet. Anyway, it's awesome. All right, guys, I got a boogie. It's 8:13. Thank you all so much for sticking around for so long. I love you guys so much. It just means a ton that you do this. Make sure you share these videos with your friends. That does make a difference. If you're watching right now and you haven't subscribed yet, I dare you to do it. If you're watching this later and you're like, man, that was fun to watch, I dare you to subscribe there too, because it would be awesome. Punk Rock Club, thank you guys so much for sticking around. Paul, it was great to see you here. I hope that someday we actually get to see each other in person and all this crap goes away. But yeah, next week is my birthday. I think it might actually be, anyway, my birthday is the 14th. So everybody celebrate on September 14th. Have a blast. I love you guys so much. I desperately hope that you get out, you spread the gospel of two wheels. And I hope that what we're doing here at Highland Cycles is inspiring you guys to work on, but more importantly, get out and ride your dirt bikes.